Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian on not to control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 463, right of use. Definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is definitely one of those episodes that we had to do because we get so many trustees that ask this question. A lot of people inquire ask this question, which is uh, essentially how can you use property as a trustee, right to use property. We're going to talk about this because this is something that a lot of trustees will run into a roadblock. Say, oh, how can I have a mortgage in my name, but then at the same time, the trust is making payments and things of that nature. So you see the right of use. We're going to go to the definition. There's quite a few definitions out there, obviously, over the internet. Uh, whether you want to go to Investopedia, whether you want to go to Merriam's Dictionary, uh, if you want to go to accounting type websites, the right of use of an asset. So that means that the property is considered to be an asset. Represents a lessee's authority to utilize the leased item, typically property or equipment, over the duration of the agreed upon lease term. So a lot of trustees run into this question, which is how can I use the company car? How can I use the company house? How can I do things on behalf of the company? That's what it comes down to. Well, if there's a contract, a trustee contract in place, then it looks like that. It's not just a right of use for lessees, even though this is general. That traditionally it says lessees. So we don't give legal advice or financial advice at the vault, but we do talk to our trustees and people that reach out for consultations. We go over this type of stuff, which is the right of use. We talk about assets. How are you able? That's like saying how are you able to drive the company car off of company hours? Is the company not supposed to be? Is the car not supposed to be driven off of company hours? Of course, no one in the public is going to say that they're driving the company car off of company hours, but that people do things. There is a de minimis value to actually utilizing these assets that are on the books for the company. Um, and so we definitely want to do this episode very briefly to cover this subject matter, which is the right of use. It's really simple. A lot of times, a lot of trustees want to know how is it that they can manage assets and not be held liable for them and still utilize the assets or use the assets. You're able to use the assets simple because you have the asset under control. Not because you own it, but because you control it. The right of use does not mean you own it. This is what you talk to your lawyer about or whoever you're dealing with. You say, hey, the right of use laws, the right of use allows me as a trustee to manage assets, correct? Correct. And in turn, that means I might have to drive the company car. That in turns it means not that the vault trust Christian or the vault, but we're talking about that from a trustee's perspective in general. Even if you're a property manager, you have to manage property. Why wouldn't it be any different? Sometimes the officers of the company sleep in their office. That's how it works. So we definitely want to talk about the right of use when it comes to assets because you're utilizing these assets. Now, of course, there's things in trusteeship you don't want to do. But right of use, this is one we're going to go ahead and throw to you all that you can give to your lawyer. You can give to your accountant. Say, hey, or at least lawyer in more so respect. Hey, are you familiar with this? I need contracts to be drafted in a way in which it doesn't compromise me for the use of the property and state that it's my property because it's not your property. This is the question that they're going to say to you. Well, is it still your property? Just because you use the property doesn't mean you still own the property. You can give up ownership rights to assets to companies. People do it all the time. When people start a company, don't people give money to the company? Yeah. When people start a company, can't you give your card to the company? Yeah. Well, how's that wrong? Can you give your cell phone to the company? Yeah. Right of use law. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com for Trustee Training. We're working on our next workshop already this year. I look forward to seeing all the rest